Awards like these are so crucial to bring attention to faculty who make UConn a great university. This year, we are celebrating 3 awardees in the following categories: Faculty Excellence in Graduate Teaching, Faculty Excellence in Research and Creativity in the Sciences, and Faculty Excellence in Research and Creativity in the Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences. First, to Amy Dunbar, Professor of Accounting, who's being honored for Faculty Excellence in Graduate Teaching. I want to share a few highlights from your nomination. Amy is considered a pioneer in online learning, having taught exclusively for 18 years. She's been named the Outstanding Masters in Accounting Professor 9 times, and likely would have won it more without the rule that a faculty member cannot win 2 years in a row. Feedback from her students is noted that although her coursework is difficult, the level at which they had to work was matched by Amy's intense investment in their learning. One nominator noted, "She is direct with the students without crushing their spirits, exemplifying tough love in her pedagogical toolbox." Amy is a professor who presents difficult, real-world challenges to students in a justified manner. As Amy's students, they remarked, "You suddenly have an enormous, talented, passionate, unyielding champion cheering you on." Above all, Amy has been seen as a mentor, inspiration, and a woman of strength, honor, and integrity. Congratulations, Amy.
I'd like to thank the UConn Foundation Alumni Relations Office for selecting me for the 2020 UConn Faculty Excellence in Graduate Teaching Award. I also thank George Plesko, the chair of the accounting department, for nominating me, my colleague Ricky Livingston for her support of the nomination, and 2 of my former students, Leanne Adams and Christina Galuzzo, for their support. I began teaching in January 1999 in our brand new accounting master's program. I started experimenting with technology because I quickly saw that my students in downtown Hartford weren't showing up for class. They were full-time employees and part-time Masters of Accounting students, and they were traveling a lot for their jobs. And so I asked, could I teach the class online? And at the time, online learning was deemed to be inferior to face-to-face for learning. The best you could hope for in the studies was no significant difference. But I really thought that an online course would certainly beat the heck out of any course that was taught face-to-face and the students weren't showing up. So I did get to teach my course online, and in summer 2001, that was the first time. And by summer 2003, we were a completely online master's program. It worked so well for us. How awesome is it that this award is recognizing online graduate teaching? Be still my heart.
Next, to Ann Buckland, Professor of Marine Sciences, who's being honored for Faculty Excellence in Research and Creativity in the Sciences. A few highlights from your nomination. Ann is considered a trailblazer in the field of marine population genetics. She's secured over $13 million in grant funding through the course of her career. She's regarded as one of the most productive and successful faculty members here at UConn. She has authored 92 peer-reviewed publications that have been cited well over 4,000 times. Notably, she has done all this while also assuming important leadership roles, having served as head of the Department of Marine Sciences, a program manager at the Office for Naval Research, a director of one of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association Sea Grant programs, and a contributor to many joint programs at the International Council for Exploration of the Seas. It is also noted by one of her nominators that she's received too many awards to list. Some of the notable achievements include being elected Fellow of the American Association of the Advancement of Science, an elected member of the Connecticut Academy of Science and Engineering, and a recipient of the Fulbright and National Science Foundation fellowships. She's received both the Service Award and the Outstanding Achievement Award from the International Council for Exploration of the Sea. Congratulations, Anne.
I am deeply honored to be recognized by the UConn Foundation and the university community. The University of Connecticut has provided a wonderful professional home for me, and I would like to extend my special thanks and deep appreciation to my colleagues in the Department of Marine Sciences on the UConn Avery Point campus. I appreciate and enjoy the strong sense of community, shared commitment to collegial respect and friendship, opportunities for collaboration, and close engagement with our graduate and undergraduate students possible at Avery Point. I would also like to acknowledge the invaluable efforts of my students and research staff over the years. Research is a team effort, and I've been very lucky to have worked with a team of talented researchers who are also dedicated to teaching and mentoring. My research interests focus on marine zooplankton, the animals that drift with ocean currents throughout their entire lives. There are currently about 7,000 described species across 15 different major groups of animals. I call zooplankton charismatic microfauna to convey the beauty of these lovely but tiny animals. The complexity, diversity, and small size of marine zooplankton has resulted in their being overlooked and underappreciated, and yet the zooplankton assemblage is a huge factor in the functioning of ocean ecosystems throughout the globe. Zooplankton are key links between the tiny plants, phytoplankton, the larger animals, fishes and whales, and the pelagic food web. A great deal remains unknown about the diversity of the pelagic zone. Fundamental questions such as how many species are there? And yet a biodiversity baseline is essential for detecting the impacts of human activities, including commercial harvesting, deep sea mining, climate change, and others. Knowledge of the species diversity, distribution, and abundance of marine zooplankton assemblage continues to be a critical element for understanding and predicting the complex interconnected network of the global ocean ecosystem. So they're tiny, but they're very important, and every species matters. In closing, I'd like to again express my deep gratitude to the UConn community, my appreciation to my colleagues in marine sciences especially, and my very special thanks to my research collaborators and students and staff who've worked in my research group over the years. Thank you all very much.
Finally, to Noelle Casnay, who's being honored for faculty excellence in research and creativity in the humanities, arts, and social sciences. A few highlights from your nomination. Noelle's research focuses on some of the most important contemporary issues in American society, including institutional and systemic racism. His work stretches across the social sciences and has had great impact on public policy, politics, and law. He's commended by his nominators for his contributions across the university, including sociology, urban and community studies, Africana studies, and American Studies programs. His book, Welfare Racism, is considered groundbreaking in the field of study, and for it, he's received multiple awards. He has published 5 books and is now working on a 6th. He envisions this as a large, robust, and politically engaged conceptualization of kindness. One nominator noted, he teaches all of his students to be intensively critical and reflective of one's own work, demanding explicit definitions of concepts, often taken for granted, and considerable clarity in the building of new concepts or frameworks. He's taught some of the most interesting and controversial courses at UConn, including white racism and social construction of happiness. He's also one of the instructors in this fall's anti-Black racism course. Congratulations, Noelle.
When I looked at my computer screen the day I got the notice that I had received this award, I was stunned. Given the way that I had struggled for decades against often intense hostility toward my work, which examines racism directly, explicitly, and as appropriate, exclusively. Resistance that I received from within my department, the university at large, and professional sociology, I was stunned, confused, and even angry. It was a weird feeling at the twilight of my career as I was fully prepared to exit academia as a wounded warrior in my Sisyphean efforts to have America abandon racially accommodative language and to engage in the honest discussion of one of its most pressing social problems that is increasingly raising its ugly head as tens of millions of European Americans have now taken to the streets in acknowledgement and protest of three basic facts that have been all too obvious to African Americans and other people of color for centuries. First, America has always been a racist nation. Second, systemic racism is a major problem today. And third, we must address the problem of systemic racism now. So let me extend my sincere thanks to Ken, Manisha, and everyone else who was involved in the nomination process. Then there's the other side of me that fretted over what this is going to do to my reputation. I live my life and do my work on the margins, and that has become my comfort zone. I'm definitely not an institutionalist. I don't enjoy working the inside of things. So I accept this award, not just for myself, but to acknowledge and honor the struggle that has happened, is happening, and must continue to happen to combat racism and all other forms of social oppression that stifle our ability to both individually and collectively achieve our full human potential. It is with that purpose and in that spirit that I end my remarks with these two heartfelt words. Thank you.
This is a well-deserved honor for each of you, and I'm pleased we can recognize you in a meaningful way. You make UConn proud. Thanks for all you do for the university, our students, your colleagues, and the advancement of knowledge through your disciplines.